How's it going, everybody? Fix It French is back with a new video. This morning when I turned my car on, I turned the heat on and I didn't have any heat. So in this video I'm going to show you how I fixed it, how I found out what the problem was, and if you're having problems with your heat in your car, here's some symptoms that you can go over and maybe you can fix yours too. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the radiator cap and we're going to see if there's any antifreeze. My car's been running for a while. This should be full, but I don't see any. Even when I look deep down in there, I don't see any antifreeze. So we know that the car is low on coolant. So now if that's full, you can always look at this and see if there's any antifreeze in here. Maybe you just need to add some in here. We're going to look at mine and wow, that is horrible. I've said it before, I'm a mailman who drives over 1,000 miles a week on dirt roads and county roads. So I experience dirty things like this in my car often, but this is probably the worst anything's ever been on my car. This is pretty bad. I'm going to have to clean this. I can't even put more antifreeze in here. If I do, it's just going to get a bunch of gunk and chunks of mud in my antifreeze and my radiator, and that'll just mess it up. The reason your car doesn't have heat when there's low antifreeze is this. You have a heater core back here. You have two hoses back here that antifreeze travels through. On the right, antifreeze travels into the heater core through this hose, travels through the heater core, and then on the left it comes out. And that heater core, as the antifreeze goes through it, it heats up, and then you have a fan that blows onto your heater core, and that fan, when it blows against that hot heater core, it actually blows hot air into your car. So if you don't have antifreeze or you're low on antifreeze, the heater core won't be able to heat up because the antifreeze isn't going through it, and that's why antifreeze, low antifreeze won't give you heat on your car. I'm checking this to see if it's hot, and I can squeeze it pretty easy. Usually there's a lot of antifreeze in this. I'm definitely really low on antifreeze. I've got to get some in there really soon. Your car also has what's called a blend door actuator, and it's just a door that's underneath your dashboard, and when you turn the knob to hot or you turn it to cold, it opens or closes that door, making either the heat or the air condition accessible to the car. Maybe your problem is as simple as just a bad thermostat. Thermostat's real easy to change. You just take these two bolts off, pull it out, put the new one in, and you're done. But a thermostat might get stuck open, and then your car will actually run cold instead of heating up to normal temperature. Also, there could be a bad water pump, and if the water pump isn't turning correctly, or maybe it's leaking antifreeze, it's preventing antifreeze from getting into the heater core, also not giving you heat. Maybe it's your blower motor or the resistor. To find out, just turn your fan on all settings. If you don't hear it on all settings, then your resistor or your blower motor is bad. But I'm pretty sure mine is right here with antifreeze. So let's start working on it. Let's go over the tools we're going to be using. Here's some pliers. I like the ones with the lockjaws the best. A large extension, a medium extension, a ratchet, and a screwdriver. Let's get into it. So we only need to take 4 things off. There's a little clip here that the screwdriver fits right into. There's a bolt down here, a bolt in the back, and then we also got to get this hose off. To get this hose off, we're just going to take our pliers. There's 3 little prongs on this ring. Pinch them together, it opens up, and you can slide it right down. Then the hose should come off pretty easy, just like that. Now liquid does go in this hose, so we don't want it to spill anywhere. So instead of facing it towards the ground, just dropping it, we're going to lean it up against something so the top is facing up in the air. Now let's get these bolts off. They should come off pretty easy. You might just turn your ratchet, and it might be a little bit easier to just use your hand the rest of the way. Can't even count the times I've lost something like this underneath the car, so I always get a little tub like this, and it's just a way to keep track of them. Now let's get the bolt on the back. Keep everything organized. Good. Now let's get this clip off. It's pretty easy to take these off. There's a little slot that the screwdriver fits in. Just turn it like that and it pulls up, and now it's not locked in anymore, so you can just literally pull it right out. You know what to do. Now this should pull out pretty easy. Try not to get antifreeze everywhere. You can see I spilled some out of the bottom. I didn't realize any was left in there. But I'm a mailman who drives over 1,000 miles a week on dirt roads, county roads. And so I have all kinds of car parts that get this dirty. I've got to clean my car all the time. It's hard to keep up with, but I didn't realize this got this bad. But that explains why. I'll put a picture of what my fuel pump looked like a few weeks ago. Alright, so I took this into my backyard. I've put some soap in it. I've got my hose on a jet stream, so it should be pretty powerful. Should get a lot of that grime off. I'm sure doing this for 20 minutes I'll be able to get a lot, but I'm gonna need a brush to really get it clean. Ended up doing this for about 20 to 30 minutes. You can see just the jet alone is getting a lot of that stuff on, but honestly without a brush there's probably no way would have got it this clean. And you can still see some marks on it, but those are just stains. There's no buildup or gunk anywhere. It's just a bunch of stains that are still on there. Even when you scrub them, it doesn't do anything. But this will definitely do. Alright, so let's install it the exact same way we put it in. It just slides right in. Then we're going to get our clip. We got to put our hose on and our 2 little bolts.
23, she left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow. I looked around.
Now let's put the hose back on. Use the pliers to clamp onto the ring. Put it back in position, and it's good to go. Now it's time to start adding coolant. I know that the car is low on coolant, so I don't just want to put it in the container that we just cleaned. Now I'm going to put it in the radiator, and I'm going to do it till it's full. Then once it's full, I'm going to start the engine, and it's going to suck all that coolant into the radiator, and then I'm going to fill it while it's running up all the way, and then close it, and then I'll go back to the container and fill it up where it needs to be filled. So now that it's full, I'm going to go start the car, and now it's all going to get sucked into the radiator. Now with the car running, I'm going to fill it all the way back up. Alright, so the last thing we got to do is now fill up this container. You can see it says full cold and full hot. The car's been running for a little bit. It's not necessarily all the way hot, but it is pretty warm, so I'm going to fill it up just below the hot. Alright, so now we need to test the heat, see if it's hot. We're going to turn it all the way up, make sure that fan's blowing really hard. It should get pretty hot pretty quick. And just like that, we got heat again. All we had to do was add some antifreeze. We also cleaned out the tank that it goes in. It wasn't hard, it was very simple, and one of these symptoms that I described in this video probably is the reason you don't have heat. So now you can go look at your car, and maybe you can find out what's wrong with yours.
I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above